WMMS.
I hate trains, dreary nights and drizzling rain. I hate trains, that lonesome whistle gives me a pain. I don't care what Johnny Cash said, all them trains it goes straight to well. I don't care what Johnny said, I hate trains. Long as I can remember, I've been hearing about them trains. Lonesome whippoorwill, crying in the rain. Bendy Berry and Casey Jones and the wreck of the 99. But for my part, you can take them trains and shove them on down the line. 'Cause I hate trains, dreary nights and drizzling rain. I hate trains.
Boy, Mac Allen Smith is unapologetic in his, not just a passing dislike, if you pardon the pun. He hates trains, this guy. Hates them. Anybody going to take, I was reading about the new Amtrak route. Who is this? Did you read about this?
No, it's so
Who is
dumb.
this for?
It's so expensive. It's so slow.
Hours?
And it costs more than a flight.
The new Amtrak route that they're crowing about goes from Cleveland to Florida, and you don't have to change trains. You used to have to switch trains in D.C. Now you can take the whole unbroken trip from Chicago to Miami.
Why
and it
are
comes
our
through,
trains so slow?
It comes through Cleveland. You mean as opposed to like high-speed trains?
Yeah.
Because it's on this old infrastructure. You know, Amtrak it's trying to stay alive as a company.
I feel like cars go faster than Amtrak.
Yeah, but you don't have to drive.
Well, you don't have to drive, but again, it's
Yeah, but when something takes 38 hours...
Well,
it's
38 hours
longer
from
than that.
Chicago.
40, yeah, from Chicago.
Oh,
That's
from-
right.
okay.
For the entire trip. Let's say you're leaving from
29
Chicago.
hours.
It's 46 hours and 29 minutes from Chicago to Miami. Starting November the 10th, the new route will be called the Floridian and will travel through Cleveland, Pittsburgh, D.C., Richmond, Virginia, Raleigh, Columbia, South Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Orlando, Tampa, Miami.
This thing should cost $10.
It really should.
Could you imagine the people you would encounter on a train ride that costs $10?
Think about the early
That's
days of
worth
the
it.
early days of the mega bus.
Going from Chicago to Florida.
Yep.
You are on a quest now.
Yeah.
I can see this being used for like people in more southern states, South Carolina, North Carolina, things like that. But I cannot even come up with a scenario where someone from Chicago would do that.
Unless they are absolutely terrified of flying.
But you got to be really scared. I mean, at some point, it becomes prohibitively inconvenient.
I know people that have done this because they will not fly, so they would come and visit here from Rhode Island, and they would take a train, and it was a nightmare.
The route also stops in Elyria, Sandusky, and Toledo in Ohio.
I'm just going to take it from Cleveland to Elyria.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, can I get a high-end first-class seating with bedrooms and
It's
private
date night,
restrooms?
baby.
Yeah. Cleveland to
We're
Elyria.
taking a first-class train from Cleveland to Elyria, and we're taking an Uber X home.
All aboard, all off. A 20-minute train ride.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what they're going for there.
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn! Oh my God! Oh, she's beautiful!
Now, this is temporary because they're trying to alleviate traffic in New York because they're doing that East River Tunnel rehab project. And so they've still got the New York to Miami route. But and they did this in the 70s, this article says. Connected Chicago to Miami in the 70s, but the train did not stop in Cleveland, which seems strange because Cleveland was a much bigger deal in the 70s. You know what I mean? Like Cleveland was like a big, big deal in the 70s. You'd think it would have come right through here. The CEO of the Rail Passengers Association says this is great news. Listen, it's a long trip. I guess I've never taken, I mentioned this before the break, that we are house sitting. Well, not house sitting, dog sitting. We're dog sitting. My mother-in-law's little dog because she's on a 2-week train trip with a couple of friends through Canada. And I'm like, that's one of those things that, like, in my brain sounds like it could be fun. I've never gone on a long train trip. But if you drop the coin and, you get the sleeper car and all the amenities, it's just that you're on it for a long time. And you're obviously something like that. You're stopping at these different cities, and you're doing that here too. But you're not like, you're not getting out at Raleigh and dicking around, right? You're on the train.
Yeah, you're on the train.
They're probably just picking people up.
And dropping them off.
Like Greyhound. I just still am triggered from like a couple of Greyhound trips I took as a younger person. And oh my God, it's just like it stops every 10 feet. And, it's like you have people who have never traveled before, so they don't know where their ticket is, they don't know where to put their bag. Like, oh my God. And it stops on this route, by the way. It stops in Cleveland at 3 a.m.
Oh,
Hell
perfect.
So if you need
There's no downsides. There's not a single downside of taking this train.
What I like is that they offer coach and first class options.
How much is first class?
I don't know. They said the tickets start at $180. That's for coach seating to Orlando. Well, this says it departs from Cleveland at 1:54 a.m. But anyway, it's going to be overnight when it's pitch black. Where do you pick it up? Where's the Amtrak?
It's down by Cleveland Brown Stadium, I think.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Because I know they moved the Greyhound station, right? Or they're getting rid of it or something. Greyhound's having a tough time, too. But I saw this. I'm like, what is... Somebody did the math, right? $236 per person for this trip, Cleveland to Miami on Amtrak, or $171 a person for a direct 3-hour flight. But again, there's money to be made on people who are afraid to fly. But it would be more, listen, if you're in a plane, I don't know which way it goes. Would you rather be in a train derailment?
Dude.
I mean,
maybe if you're unbreakable.
You're on the ground. You might live. There's probably a higher likelihood that you would live in a train crash than an airplane crash, but people live through plane crashes. And what were you saying, Mary?
I was going to say, like, there's a higher chance of, a sheriff and an outlaw fighting on top of a train, and that's distracting and annoying.
Yeah. Sheriff and an outlaw. Yeah.
Just hear all that banging around, and it's 1:30 in the morning. You're trying to sleep.
It would just be nice if we had a train situation like they have in Japan or Europe.
Europe, yeah. You get a pass.
High-speed stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Well, their cities are farther apart, too. Like, there's a lot more, I know that they always have these dreams in this country. This is a huge country. It's much more densely populated. Not that it couldn't be done, but I don't think, there's so much existing infrastructure that needs to be updated. I think they're like, well, let's at least theoretically put money into that instead of starting from scratch. Listen, they've been talking about that Cleveland to Chicago Hyperloop since I've been living here.
Ain't never going to happen.
It's never going to happen, but I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't falling asleep to those dreams every night. But, yeah. But, if you're on a train and it's like going through Appalachia, or you're going through the mountains or something, these people take the Rocky Mountain trek on these trains. Very, very popular. You'd certainly think that this thing would go through Akron, Ohio. Because, the rolling hills, Bill, the countryside of Akron, Ohio. What is it, Steak on a Stone? You could be passing that. Wasn't there a Steak on a Stone place down there?
I don't know. I know there's
very exciting. Where the stone is hot, and they cook.
Yeah, no, I know what it is.
Yeah,
they did it at Geneva on the Lake brewery.
Yep, we went to one in Detroit for my wife's cousin's birthday or something. Black Rock, I believe, is what it's called. I think that's what they have in Akron.
Amtrak. So a bullet train in Japan goes about 200 miles per hour. Amtrak can go 150 miles per hour, but their average speed is about 48 miles per hour.
48. Oh, you could race it in your car and win. I mean, if you drive to Miami, it's like 13 hours, right? I mean,
That's more than that.
is it? I mean, we've driven.
You've got to stop at least twice.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I guess when we drive to Florida, we're in the northern part of the state. So, yeah, it would add a lot going to Miami. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, I was just the Amtrak talk reminded me of taking the megabus back in college, and this one was fresh, and it's just funny the amount of what you were willing to sacrifice in time for price. I think I took it from Cleveland to Minnesota and back, and like 3 of the legs were free, and 1 leg cost me $5. But it was just the most brutal experience. I think back, and I'm like, it doesn't matter how free it was. It was just it was so bad.
And you didn't even want to like close your eyes to take a nap. Like you didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah, people everywhere. Just the most. It was just insane.
Yeah, it was like a penal colony on those buses.
It was.
And it was a little misleading because they were like tickets starting at $1. So like the first 2 people that got in with a reservation, you get a $1 ticket, and then past that, they were like, "Nah, it's $20. We're still a business. We're trying to make money." But
exactly, yeah. And the stops you had to make, the random Amtrak stop, it was just like, yeah, never again. Like,
no, yeah.
But
All right,
thank you.
Thank you, Brian. There you go. Hey, Linda.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a fun fact about the Lou Bega song you guys were talking about.
Boy, this better be fun, or I'm gonna get sour real quick, Linda.
So supposedly, I heard this on TikTok, so maybe it's not true. But
I'm glad that you didn't verify it before you just start spreading it around these airwaves.
She comes to us with fake news about Lou Bega. Oh, boy. This is going to become a scandal, Linda. I can already tell.
Nah. So anyway, apparently Stephen King really loved that song so much that he used to play it on repeat over and over and over until his wife finally came in the room and said, "Shut it off or I'm leaving."
I think I read that a while back. It was like one of those, he was doing an interview with somebody and he mentioned that. I think that is true. But no wonder this guy was cranking out psychologically terrible horror novels. He was listening to goddamn Mambo No. 5 on a loop. Wow.
Right, that'll make it crazy.
Yeah, there's a variety story about it, so looks like it's confirmed.
Let that be a lesson to all of you aspiring horror writers. Find a song like this and then just drill it into your brain. That's the thing is like, I wouldn't want to, the downside of doing that is ruining a song you genuinely like. And for me, it would not be Mambo No. 5, but, okay, thank you, Linda. Let her get back to making dinner or whatever the hell she's doing there. Stephen King was so obsessed with Mambo No. 5 that his wife threatened to divorce him. It was the story in one of the British papers. Could it be that she was mad, and I don't know what his wife's name is, but I bet her name wasn't in the song.
Oh.
Could it have been as simple as that? See, Mary likes the song because her name is in it.
She just found out today her name's in it.
No, she knows. What is his wife's name? Tabitha. There ain't no Tabitha in Mambo No. 5. Right?
Yeah, it's too many. Yeah.
Little bit of Tabitha. He could have done it. He could have done it. You know, I've seen pictures of Stephen King for so long, but I never realize how old they are until you see him currently.
Yeah.
And I go, oh my God, Stephen King is old.
Yeah. It looks like the character from Thinner now.
Yes.
And he was always a weird looking dude anyway.
Yes.
So old Stephen King is very upsetting.
And Tabitha King is an author in her own right. I think she's a horror novelist too. But just drove her crazy with that. Is the name Kelly in Mambo No. 5?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, forget it then. What's up, Kelly?
Hey, I took an Amtrak to New York not long ago. My son was in college, and I wanted to go visit, and I didn't feel like driving.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like $84. It was a 13-hour train ride, but it wasn't bad. Like, when do you ever find 13 hours to do absolutely nothing?
Well, that's true.
Like in my life, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and New York is doable. It's just the Chicago to Miami thing. I don't know who that's for, boy.
I wouldn't do that because I know the bathrooms were disgusting. That was my only downfall was the bathrooms in the Amtrak. Because, I just went coach, So the bathrooms were disgusting. I can't imagine going that far.
Right.
On a train.
Right.
But it wasn't bad. I mean, I'd recommend for quick trips.
Bill, more like crap, am I right? Like, oh, boy. It's terrible. Okay, listen.
Well
Kelly,
done.
I'm sorry to subject you to that.
Cox Out pregame show. This.
No, you're fine.
All right, thank you. There's Kelly. Cox Out pregame on Sunday.
Where's that this week?
Lakewood Truck Park.
Oh, Truck
Yep.
Park.
We're rotating between 3 locations this season. You can go to AlanCoxShow.com for the schedule. Who are they playing Sunday? 3:30 to 5:30 is Cox Out pregame, so the game must be in the middle there. They're playing they're playing the Raiders of Las Vegas. Browns Raiders. When they are on the road, I'm out doing the Cox Out pregames. So, if you want to come out and hang, we're doing the Bud Light football thing too, which could get you to Las Vegas. And then you could be going to, wait for it, the big game. Wow. In New Orleans. That's where the Super Bowl is.
Hey.
So the Cox Out pregame with Bud Light. Next one is this Sunday. I think I have 2 in a row because they're in D.C. the Sunday after that. So next 2 Sundays, doing a Cox Out. So find out when and where and just go to AlanCoxShow.com. Find the contest page there or whatever. But yeah, Lakewood Truck Park. I've never done them there, so I'm excited to get over there. That'll be Sunday afternoon. I got to take a break. You want to get a text in for anything? 35192 to get me there. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, you can drop messages for us there. And we'll be back after these.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.